Everybody, my name is Matt, this is my wife Jessica, and we are on board the MSC Seashore. We're currently docked at Nassau, Bahamas, but we are here on a type of a travel agent tour / seminar at sea, and so we've got to see a little bit behind the scenes and a little bit of the various experiences that are available. This is our first time on an MSC cruise ship. We've done Disney several times, Carnival several times, and Norwegian cruise lines one time. So it's been fun for us to come on board and experience it for the first time and see all the things that are available. Jessica, what were your first impressions of the ship, like that first 24 hours coming on and just kind of experiencing it for the first time?
Everything on the ship, like decor wise, it just feels more luxurious. Everything is really shiny. There's lots of light and mirrors everywhere, just to give this impression of brightness and space that isn't necessarily there on a cruise ship.
Yeah, and I would say like Carnival is also kind of a bright ship, but it's more like fun colors, like red, like in your face type colors. This is more sophisticated, in your face, I guess, more
luxurious.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, I guess. But yeah, lots of black and silver and diamonds and white light. The theming for it is New York City. So the main atrium, there's a Liberty Square within on the front of the ship that has like kind of a replica of Times Square, and there's a Statue of Liberty, and the restaurants are all New York City themed. Any cruise is roughly the same. It's all a big giant hotel floating in the water. They can only change things so much between them, so you all have the standard food, the entertainment, the rooms, the good service. That's all kind of standard across the board, but I felt like this one was definitely had that feel of being more European, which I think we'll probably say a lot in this video, because MSC is a, I guess, Italian roots company and fairly new to the US, so it's interesting that they have this new approach to America. Like they're pushing pretty hard to enter the North American market, and I would say that it reflects in their ships that they are European. One interesting thing too that was like when you go on a Carnival cruise, one of the first things they do is try to sell you on the drink packages. Drinks everywhere, fruity drinks, all that kind of stuff. But on this one, there was no mention of the drink packages, like no upsell or anything to try to get that on you. But they did push you hard on the specialty dining packages. Tons of employees walking around that first few hours.
Oh yeah, everywhere you turn there's somebody. Are you interested in a specialty dining package?
Buy, one for a set price, or buy three for a set price. And I would say they were pushing that pretty intently. It is spring break season in North America. There are a lot of college kids here, 20-something college kids that are on spring break. And maybe at first that was a little bit concerning, thinking it might be a party ship. But I would say even till now, a few days later, they've all been super nice, like very respectful, so that has not been an issue at all.
But overall, I would say there's a diversity of ages. Like there are some kids here, maybe not a ton. You've got some families on spring break. There's also a lot of older people, like 60s, 70s. I was sitting by some on some lounge chairs. These 4 older women that were sisters lounging out by the pool today. So there's really just all sorts of ages.
We talked a little bit about the style, the vibe. I would say it's definitely a European vibe. If you've never been on a cruise and you've got an American cruise ship and a European cruise ship, what are some of the key differences?
Really sleek and
more minimalist.
Yeah, minimalist.
Environmentally friendly and about the environment. And so, there's hardly any paper products, any single-use items on board. And the service, I would say, is good, certainly. It's not over-the-top extraordinary either. So we are in a premium balcony, room 9138. It's definitely not big. It would sleep 3 people if this couch you can make it out to a bed, but it would be tight with 3, mainly the bathroom. I'm not a huge guy, like I'm 5'8", and I, probably have a few inches above my head. The shower are almost touching the shoulders on the glass. The toilet is basically right in front of the sink, so it's kind of a squeeze to get in there. I know all cruise ship bathrooms are small. I do feel like this one is just a little bit smaller, maybe, than
I think other ships we've been on too had at least a little bit of a tub shower, so it's obviously a little longer. But yeah, this one's just the single stall stand-up shower that you can barely turn around in.
If you've been on a cruise before, you know that there's a lot of shopping, an attempt to get you to shop while on board with different stores that sell purses, watches, jewelry, that kind of thing. So it's not a new concept, although I would feel this one has quite a bit of shopping, and it definitely feels like higher end brands, and again, more European brands like Guess and some of those Boss, that definitely a lot higher end type stores. They have a big duty free store, which I think is a little bit unique.
But for me, it's not as appealing. I'm not even tempted to go into any of those stores. I'm not going to buy any of that stuff. They have one small shop that is their MSC branded things. So that's really the only one I've been in, because the other ones aren't interesting to me.
But I will say the other ones are often busy. Like the jewelry store is often very busy. The like makeup and cologne, perfume area is very busy. I've seen several people in the watch stores. They do not have Rolex, which is kind of surprising, but they have lots of other item brands and Tag. How are they? One thing about MSC that I've noticed is Disney cruises obviously have all of their Disney intellectual property to pull from. And so they have a great way of theming and a great way of tying in all these stories that we're all familiar with. MSC has attempted that to an extent, in the sense that they have done a lot of collaboration with brands that we're all familiar with. So they do have several Lego statues throughout the ship. They have their own Lego branded, like legit Lego MSC cruise ship in the gift shop. They have just an assortment of Legos that you can purchase, different Lego sets. And in the kids club, they do have like a Lego activity, and some of their bigger ships have, you know, full-on Lego PlayStations and things like that. They also have teamed up with like Master Chef for some competitions. Like on the World America that's coming out soon by MSC, it's got an Italy restaurant, which is it's a retail store and restaurant that they have in big cities like Chicago, New York City. They have an Italy at Sea, which is a first.
The skyline with small looking kind of billboards that are electronic, flashing different ads.
They are doing a big marketing push with Drew Barrymore. It was recently the Super Bowl in the US, and they had spent a lot on marketing at the Super Bowl with some commercials with Drew Barrymore, and so they have her on digital boards all over the ship. So one thing to talk about is the food, which I wouldn't say we're foodies, I don't like that word, but I think that we do enjoy good food and we like to try different things, and the food on this one has been okay, I guess. Like
average for a cruise ship.
Yeah, I mean, for cruise ships, you know, to give to their credit, it is hard to feed thousands of people the right amount and the right types and to keep everybody happy, and do so while keeping quality food. So we've eaten in the dining room.
Complimentary dining room. We haven't done any of the specialty restaurants, which probably are a lot better. Yeah, I am a believer in like frugal cruising, in the sense that you should be able to buy kind of the basic entry, like you pay for your passage and you get on, and you should be able to live comfortably the rest of your cruise without spending any extra money. So from the onset, you should have a good set of experiences without having to pay. The marketplace buffet, I will say, has not been amazing. There's not a lot of selection. They do talk about like diversity in the kinds of food. There's like a small section of Indian food, and they'll have like an area of like some healthy food. Overall, I would say it's not a ton of choices. It's very repetitive. The complimentary dining area and marketplace buffet, that's essentially all you have in terms of choices for included meals. They do have several restaurants that are specialty restaurants that you have to pay for dinner, or even some of them have lunch. But again, that's a paid fee. Several other cruises I often compare to Carnival. They have the Guy's Burgers or the taco place, or even Disney will have the kids section with the pizza and burgers. Carnival sometimes have like barbecue spots at certain days that are all included, but here it really is those two options. This is much more, I guess, European in the sense that it's lighter fare, portions are a bit smaller. There's plenty of food to eat, but your initial portion is smaller. The desserts aren't quite as decadent, just a little more simplistic. So one thing about us is we really like ice cream. We do consider ourselves ice cream connoisseurs. And when I say ice cream, I include things like gelato and custards. So I was excited about ice cream on this ship, and that's something I'll always talk about in our videos, is the ice cream situation. So for this, just like any other cruise we've been on, they do have the ice cream cones in the marketplace that are essentially all you can eat. Kind of a downside to this place, and I think it's probably a post-COVID thing, and so not that surprising, but it's not self-serve, which is fine, but it does seem the line has been longer a few times. Oh yeah, yesterday it was like 20 people deep for a while. Well, we walked past it a couple of times. And then we went to a different one, which the line was shorter, but they only had chocolate ice cream. It's almost like they can't accommodate the number of people that are wanting to have ice cream. And there's over 5,000 people on this ship, so more than 2 ice cream machines seems reasonable, but that's all they have.
So if you were wanting to do like an ice cream cone eating challenge and try to get like 20 in a day, I mean, you could, but it would take a little more effort and more dedication to get that done because it's not as freely
And they don't
available.
even have it available until noon.
There are dinner desserts that include ice cream, and you can ask for just scoops of ice cream, and that one is fine.
He got his 3 scoops with his chocolate cake last night.
I did have that. I made do with my combination of their chocolate cake and asking for some extra ice cream. The only other ice cream opportunity on this ship that I've seen is Da Vinci Chocolate Shop, which is actually really cool, but everything there is additional charge. They do have ice cream or gelato, Italian ice cream, and we got a shake, but it just wasn't a good, amazing milkshake. So that was a little disappointing.
And they do have at least 2 other spots for the scoop gelato around the ship. So they have the chocolate shop with the ice cream, and then 2 other spots, I think, as part of bars where you can get scoops of ice cream, but it's additional.
And I do feel like the chocolate shop is really cool. They have a big open area where they make their own chocolates right there, and you can watch them. They've got lots of Italian and really chocolate from all over the world that you can buy just, by the pound or by the gram, 100 grams, I think I saw. And I could see myself enjoying lots of things from there, but again, it's more that the principle of it, it's an upcharge item that, you have to pay for to enjoy. So, which I'm not opposed to, but I'm not going to go crazy there because it's not included. So yeah, overall ice cream scoring on this cruise, I would probably like 2 out of 5 scoops in terms of a rating of how good this is for people that love ice cream. And I know that one of our big people that we really like to watch in the cruising world is Emma Cruises, and so she is always seeking out that chocolate chip cookie, which I have been kind of keeping my eye open, and I haven't seen a lot of cookies either. I don't think I've seen like a chocolate chip or any kind of cookie.
Yeah, unless there's something on room service. We haven't looked at room service.
Speaking of room service, there is no free room service. There is a pretty decent room service menu. We'll say you can get room service, but only for breakfast for free if you are in the Fantastica or above kind of classification. There's also a mini bar here, which the first day it was open and now it's locked for some reason, so I'm not sure why. It's stocked full of stuff, but it's all additional charge, even if you have the drink package. So we have the drink package, which we normally, again, don't get, but we got just as a part of this travel advisor seminar at sea experience that we're on, it included the drink package. So even if you have the drink package, doesn't mean you can raid the mini bar. You still have to go out of the room to get your drink. And speaking of the drink package, we're not alcoholic drinkers. We don't ever really get the drink package, but it has been nice in the sense that you've gotten lots of soda. I don't really drink soda, but we have gotten several like virgin pina coladas and virgin Miami Vices. It has been nice to grab water bottles because otherwise you would be getting water from the machines. That part has been nice, but certainly wouldn't have been worth the price if we had bought it like as a cash paying customer. So why do we like cruising? We like to travel in general, but we especially like cruising, I think. I think it's one of our favorite forms of travel.
I just like the convenience of it. Everything is included, which I know a lot of people appreciate, all inclusive for either resorts or cruises. I really like that you can see a lot of different places and all you have to do is go to sleep and you wake up and you're in somewhere new. You can get off the boat, explore, and then get back on. We do a lot of road trips, so this is a much more convenient experience than road tripping.
Again, I like that it's just like you plan it months in advance, you kind of pick out your itinerary, your ship, your room, and you even pay for it in advance and get everything ready so that way once the cruise comes, like really the only thing you have to focus on is getting to the terminal to get on the boat. Like that's usually the most stressful part if you're flying in or driving in or whatever that is. Like that takes planning, but literally once you walk on the boat, stress-free, worry-free, like you don't really have to plan or do anything. But for those that are planners and like to do things and stay busy, there's plenty of that. But if you just want to get on board and then not have to worry about making any choices or doing really any adulting during that time, then cruise is excellent because all your food is included and it's planned for you and picked up, and you don't have to decide between where you want to eat. And
if you're traveling with maybe kids or other family members, there's enough activities for everybody to find something to do.
Yeah, and it's all enclosed, so I mean, we have kids that are old enough and we feel comfortable with them going to the kids clubs by themselves or doing, you know, some of the activities by themselves, and you know, they're all enclosed in one space. And then yeah, probably my second favorite thing, like she mentioned, is going to different ports and different areas. We did a Baltic cruise once, and that was an amazing way to experience parts of Europe that we normally would never really experience or visit on our own. But the fact that the cruise ship took us there, we got to spend a day in a, you know, like Latvia that we never would have otherwise. And then on top of that, all that is all packaged in a great value. I'll do plenty of videos on the value and kind of cruise pricing, but I think if you were to break it down, or I know if you break it down on, you know, price per night, plus your food, plus entertainment, all that stuff, you break it down, it's way cheaper than if you were to, say, fly somewhere, stay in a hotel, eat out for every meal, find a place to go, get entertainment, go to movies, go to parks, or whatever it is. Price per night or price per hour, I guess, even on a cruise ship is way lower. So my name is Matt, and this is my wife Jessica. And a little bit about us is we have 3 kids, Colin, Isla, and Kate. We've traveled a lot with them, and we have done so since they were little, and we really enjoy traveling and hope to continue to travel. We've made life choices that have prioritized traveling. We have a smaller home because we've spent more money on traveling, and so that was a conscious decision to say, hey, we would rather travel and do experiences like that than maybe say spend more money on a home. It is a big part of us, and we've been fortunate to be on lots of fun trips, fun activities. We've traveled a lot with family, quite a bit with my family, but a lot with Jessica's family. She has sisters that all, for the most part, love to travel and do different experiences, so we've been fortunate to be a part of that. We live in South Carolina, just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, so we live on the South Carolina side, and we've lived there for 7.5 years, and we love it. We plan to be there at least until our kids all graduate school. We had moved there from Oklahoma, which is where I'm from originally. We spent quite a bit of time there and thought maybe that would be home for good, but fortunately, or I guess luckily, we got to have an opportunity to move somewhere new, and I'm really glad we did because we really enjoy it and really like where we're at. And I'm from Oklahoma originally. But Jessica is from...
I'm from Montana. Grew up in Montana.
As far as non-travel hobbies, I really like to do woodworking and kind of engage in that and tinker around with tools and building things and being creative in that area or that way.
I have a business as a home bakery, cottage bakery, if you will.
Yeah, so she sells cakes and cookies and macarons and...
A home-based bakery.
Oh, there you go. Whole bunch of stuff, and she has paid for lots of our travel over the years with her income from that business, and she's a great baker, great cook, and so we
don't often eat like store-bought processed treats. It's usually from scratch, homemade. Our kids recently discovered what Cool Whip was. They didn't know what that was because we have homemade real whipped cream in our house.
Yeah, we have enough treats at our house that I think our kids are kind of to the point, and even myself, like, well, I eat plenty, but I don't eat as much as I could. It's always around, but I don't feel tempted like I used to just eat all the stuff that's around.
Sure. Treats are a high priority.
Yes. And ice cream, and
That's a treat.
Yeah, we have based a lot of our travels around ice cream. We've done a Northeast road trip where we went all the way up to Maine and to Niagara Falls and back down with specific stops planned based on ice cream places.
And make sure to follow along, like and subscribe.
Thanks for watching, and thanks for being a part of this. We're not the most camera friendly or not camera friendly, outgoing people. This is somewhat uncomfortable for us, I would say, do something like this. But we do travel a lot, and I like to talk about travel. I really do like when people ask me questions. Probably like most people, like to tell you about my experiences and what I like and didn't like. And so I think this is a way for me to get that out there and hopefully, maybe help somebody with some questions that they may have, or just be a sounding board for different ideas.
Thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for our next video where we'll dive deeper into this cruise, covering the entertainment, our port stops, and a few surprises along the way.